Celtics Newson Shorts asks, do you think Payton Pritchard will be inserted into the starting five next season with Jayson Tatum out and Drew Holiday traded away? We're going to talk about that in just a second. I'm going to ask you guys, though, first. Should Payton Pritchard start at point guard for your Boston Celtics in 2025-2026? You let me know in the comment section. Why for yes and for no. What's going on, Green Teamers? You're watching Celtics Today by Chat Sports. I am your host, Tyler Smith. And on today's show, we're going to be answering some subscriber questions that we asked on our mailbag call late last week. And Celtics Do Some Shorts comes in with this fire saying, do you think Payton Pritchard will be inserted into the starting five? Well, as we know, Drew Holiday was traded away to the Portland Trailblazers for Anthony Simons, and a couple people were speculating whether or not Simons would be the starting point guard and all that stuff. I do feel that Simons maybe is a little bit best suited at the two guard, even though he's a little bit undersized. And Payton Pritchard, to me, just projects more as a true point guard than Anthony Simons does, even though the both of them have their best trait as scoring the basketball. But Pritchard's been in this system for a couple of years now, and he's gotten more and more opportunity as the years have gone on. And now it kind of seems like he can be inserted into that starting lineup and have that responsibility next season and beyond. Like, is Derek White going to be called upon to carry all the ball handling duties? We know we can't have Jaylen Brown doing it in a gap year. So Payton Pritchard is going to have to shoulder a lot of responsibility next year offensively, initiating and still scoring the basketball at a very, very efficient clip, which he does. PP said this about the upcoming season heading in. He's saying, we will put a good team together, a lot of competitors and people who will go out there and lay it on the line every night. And I believe people will elevate their games and have bigger roles, especially with JT being out and until he comes back. And they should take full advantage of it and be ready for those opportunities. We will compete. And when I read this quote, I kind of felt like, to me, that Pritchard was talking a little bit about himself. He's never going to be outwardly vocal. Like, you remember when he had requested a trade but really never did, kind of thing? Like, you knew that he was a little bit disgruntled within the organization but didn't want it to go public. And that's kind of like the same thing I'm feeling here. And really, he's not super vocal when it comes to what he is demanding when it comes to the franchise. But you know that he's probably expecting to start at point guard next year now that they gave Drew Holiday away. I mean, the guy just came off a Sixth Man of the Year campaign where he shot 41% from three on 7 attempts. Like, he's a straight-up dog. Like, yeah, you have the half-court specialist. That's all cool and fun. But really, when you boil it down over a 48-minute game, like, Payton Pritchard's a legit NBA player and contributor at a high level. Like, the numbers didn't jump off the page in the year that Boston won the title, but then you get a little bit more opportunity. Drew Holiday gets another year older, and you try to play those old veterans a couple less minutes in 24-25, and Pritchard took it to his full advantage. Like, he's never going to be a guy who's dishing out 9, 10 assists, but remember some of these games that he's had in the home stretch of these regular seasons where, like, he's putting up like damn near triple doubles. What was it, the game against the Wizards back in 24 when he had nobody else around him? It was straight Celtics G Leaguers, and he puts up like 35 and 11 assists. Like, he can play. And I know it's against the Wizards and all their scrubs from back then, but like, this guy can play in the league if given the opportunity, and I believe that he will get the opportunity because Brad does believe in him, and as does Joe. He will be the starting point guard of the future. So long answer there, but I'm telling you guys what's up about Payton Pritchard. He is a legit player, and I hope he gets more and more opportunity as his career progresses. He's already 27 years old. It's kind of crazy. E-Man, what's going on, E-Man? This is Jaylen Brown staying on the Boston Celtics. Yes, Jaylen Brown is staying on the Boston Celtics. Look, some people might not want that to be the case, but you can't argue with the loyalty that Brown has shown to the Boston Celtics ever since he was drafted. And he's been a guy who's constantly being thrown around in trade rumors. And I don't know if this will be the last time that he'll actually ever see his name in a trade rumor, kind of all the propaganda going around in the early offseason. It always comes down to they're never actually listening to Jaylen Brown trade offers. Now, a couple of years ago, they were willing to deal him to the Brooklyn Nets to get Kevin Durant along with Derek White, which would have been maybe Brad Stevens' worst decision of his life. But nothing ever materialized there. The Nets are the crazy ones that said no. And that was also before Jaylen Brown actually ended up making an all-NBA team and won Finals MVP with this roster. Like, it's the Jays, man. I know it's very difficult to carry 2 Supermax contracts on your books and field a real competitor, but you don't really break up a pair of all-NBA wings in this league. Wings win in this league, and Jaylen Brown's like top 10 at that position. So, like, you don't really get rid of that type of guy. And he probably holds a little bit more value to Boston than any team trading for him actually would. So, JB, you're going to be a Celtic, most likely for life. Judy boy. What's going on, my man? Says, does Brad Stevens plan to sign or trade for a starting center? I don't exactly know. I'm not going to lie to you. This is really not going to be easy to do. Like, the Celtics have $0. They're trying desperately to bring back Al Horford, and that's proved futile. Like, by the time you're seeing this video, he might be a Golden State Warrior or retired already. He has no business playing with a team that's in total limbo like the Boston Celtics. And Brad Stevens has already gone out there and made moves technically for centers. He went out and drafted Amari Williams with the 46th overall pick in 2025, and then brought in Luka Garza as free agency was in its infancy, and Luke Cornett flew off of the board. He had to get a replacement quick, and it looks like that's going to be Luka Garza. Now, do they provide the same skill set? No, but Garza can absolutely put the ball in the cup and does good work on the offensive rebounds. Can he kind of mold into the player that Luke Cornett was within the system, being a good out of the high post passer or on the short roll passer, hitting open shooters in the corner, kind of just on instinct? Like that would be, something that I would love to see Luka Garza kind of mold into. Maybe a Kelly Olynyk for Celtics fans out there could be a comparison that we could throw out there. Best case scenario, obviously. Like, he hasn't seen a lot of opportunity, and probably for good reason, in his NBA career so far. We'll see if he can resurrect it with Boston, but it doesn't seem like a starting caliber center like across most NBA team standards, because the Celtics don't have one of those right now. Doesn't look like that will be in the cards at this point, but all things can change. Who knows? Maybe they trade Anthony Simons away for like a Nikola Vucevic or something to shed some more money off their books and get some depth in the front court. Only time will tell, but at this point, I don't know how many starting set caliber centers are available via trade, and we know they can't get one via free agency. That's all but done at this point. Hoops, shorts, and stuff. Asks, do you think that Boston will trade somebody else? So kind of similar to the last question, but not really as specific as going out there and acquiring a starting center. No, when the Celtics make a trade, or if they will make a trade the rest of this offseason, it won't be looking for the return. It's going to be looking for the relief that they get on the salary cap books. Now, Boston has been rumored to be interested in trading away the two players that they just got back in the Holiday and Porzingis flips in Anthony Simons, who's on a $27 million expiring deal, as well as George Niang, who's on an $8.2 million expiring contract as well. There's a bunch of different trade exceptions around the league that Niang could fall into if they wanted to deal him, and I think that would probably be the best case scenario. So we could see one of those two guys moving. All reports have come out saying that the Celtics want to keep Sam Hauser long-term on that 4-year, $45 million extension that he signed right after they won the title. So it doesn't seem like they're going to be making many trades as far as the players that they believe are in their core. Derek White, Jaylen Brown, Jayson Tatum, Payton Pritchard, and Sam Hauser. Those five guys look like they're here to stay. Everybody else is kind of up in the air right now. We'll see if Brad can get anything done. But wells are drying up, and cap space, luxury tax space is as well. Go Buckeyes! I wouldn't really say that normally, but he says, how much wins do you think the Celtics are getting next season, and when do you think they will win a chip? Well, we just won a championship like a little bit over 365 days ago. So let's pump the brakes a little bit. Nobody's gone back-to-back or won multiple championships in a 3-year span since the Warriors back in 2017-18, and then it was like the Heat, and then before that it was like the Lakers. Then we're getting back to the early Obama presidency, and this is just not the same league anymore, boys. So we cannot expect a championship to come, not next year or even the year after, as Jayson Tatum will be getting acclimated back to basketball shape. Looking at 27-28 and 28-29, 29-30 is potentially the years in the new window potentially for the Boston Celtics to compete. That 2027 summer, you're going to potentially see them have a lot of cap space and ability and flexibility to add marginal improvements around that core of White, Brown, Tatum, Pritchard, and Hauser. So they got to wait a little bit for that. As far as next season goes and the number of wins they will accumulate, it's hard to say right now, man. You guys just saw the centers we have on this roster. I don't care how good Jaylen Brown and Derek White are. You're not going to overcome that just skill gap at the big man position. They don't even have really a power forward on the roster either. You got Xavier Tillman kind of, but you're looking at George Niang playing big minutes at the 4 next season. That is a problem. That is not good at all. So you got to look at finding more guys as far as just depth pieces. Young talents like Josh Minot and Luka Garza, who they picked up, guys who haven't really seen much opportunity, could blossom and outplay their veteran minimum contracts. So that's kind of what I'm looking for in a way. As far as numbers and wins go, I can't see this team winning 45 games as currently constructed right now. Even in the weak-ass East, I cannot see the Celtics winning 45 games with that front court. I just can't. Like, they're going to get killed in the glass. They're going to get killed in the glass usually. Jayson Tatum's their best rebounder. Like, their centers weren't even good at rebounding. Now they don't have Tatum. They don't have a center. So, like, they're cooked in the front court. So I'm going to say less than 45 wins is what I'm looking at next year. The Celtics could easily be a play-in team in the Eastern Conference. Potentially even worse. Granted, they'll load manage Jaylen Brown and Derek White a good bit next season. Next one coming in from Kami Leon saying, if every Celtics player, former, current, or retired, was in their prime, who would you choose as the starting five? Funny enough, I was asked this a couple of days ago here in the Chat Sports offices, but we were talking about it in the way of, could you build a Celtics starting five that all meshed well together? Now, like, not just taking the 5 best Celtics at each position. Could you build a team that meshed together? So I'll give you 2 answers real quick. If you had to do just best player overall at each position, I'll go Bob Cousy, John Havlicek, Larry Bird. You could argue like now, like, put the Paul Pierce and Jayson Tatum stuff's like getting real. Like, and if we're talking about the 4, give me JT over Garnett and McHale. And then you probably go Russell at the center. So like the top 5 at the positions for all the Celtics is right there. If I had to go with a lineup that meshed well together, you got to give me Rondo at the point. You know what? Hondo, if there was a 3-point line, Hondo would have figured it out. So give me Havlicek at the 2, Bird at the 3. Probably go if we're talking about straight like what we need down low now, like we'll probably go Garnett and Bill Russell there down low if we need that defense and those anchors, down there. I gotta tell the folks about Fanatics real quick if you want to go to that before we get to our last question that I wanted to show you guys on today's show. But as far as starting 5 goes, all-time best positions: Cousy, Havlicek, Bird, Tatum, Russell. Fit: Rondo, Havlicek, Bird, Tatum, Garnett, Russell. But get this sick shirt as well from 2024 when the good times were rolling and we look like we had one of the best starting 5s of all time. At this link right here, chatsports.com/champ sale. It's got the caricatures of everybody on the roster that was contributing in a big way last year. And it's also like half off. So like, why wouldn't you take advantage of this deal? If it was $38, that means it's probably already a high quality shirt. So get yours today at this link right here, chatsports.com/champ sale. I'll put that link in the comment section and description of today's video as well. All right, before we get out of here, got one more mailbag question for you guys. And I had to pull this one straight from the YouTube streets itself. Shout out to my guy, Icing829, who says, from the Champ starting 5, who do you think is the best kisser? I think I have the same reaction as President Pickle there below him. And then he follows it up with, I think it's Drew. You guys can debate that in the comments section. I'm not going to give you my answer right now. Maybe if you can use some context clues in the screenshot that I have posted here, you can decide what my answer might be. But you guys duke it out in the comment section over who the best C smoocher is. And make sure you are subscribed to the channel so we have a little bit of fun there to close out today's show. Lock us in and hit that subscribe button for all the latest Celtics news and rumors all off season. We'll see you guys in the next one. And as always, let's go C's.